But as things stand, 10 games into the season, not a single KZN team in the relegation zone. I think all our teams are in the top 11 right now with Betway
Just
Premiership.
briefly, exciting it is for a KZN person, because it looks like we're not going to have Loluva Lesibana, especially in the second round of the season, where you think, we might lose this one.
Hi there, welcome along to another edition of Extra Time Unlocked right here on Gaga CFM with myself, and a new swap. Well, the football season is officially in full swing right now. As far as South African teams are concerned, they are playing on the continent, they are playing domestically, and whenever the season is at this stage, we always like to invite abantu abazingcono kunathi when it comes to the beautiful game of football. And right now, alongside me, I have iDiski Times journalist Umachana Sinethemba Sithole is joining us on this week's edition of Extra Time Unlocked. Machana, waphila baf.
Very well. Happy to be within the walls of Gaga's FM again. In football terms, they say a short turnaround time. I was just here. I'm here again.
Sekuthola umatasa kakhulu as well. Obviously, a lot is happening in football right now, and you are one of the busiest journalists, especially in our province here in KZN. So thank you so much for joining us, namhlanje. Just to get straight into it, obviously right now we are looking at the semi-final stages of, or rather the quarter-final stages of Icarling knockouts, with just one game remaining between Stellenbosch FC and Mamelodi Sundowns, which will happen tonight and on Wednesday nights. But looking at what happened last night in particular, with Orlando Pirates becoming the third team to join the Golden Arrows and the Richards Bay semi-finals. Siqale nje kuleyo game, looking at the performance of Buccaneers, especially where they came from, losing to Limpopo CAF Champions League.
I think a good comeback for them, especially the way they attack, the way they show Uguti we want to win. I feel they are a team that has gotten to a point where you say they are able to grind out results, even when the game is not easy, even when the game is not showing Uguti. They can be able to do so at times, because at times there were times where Obonangazuti, maybe Magesi can score just one goal and sit at the back and steal it here. But they're a team that can grind results. Yeah,
and I want us to look kancane with Pirates, just a small dive into how they have played this season and how coach Uwadu has taken over from Jose Rivero. The subtle changes that he's made in terms of indlela abadlala ngayo. How would you assess the state of Buccaneers right now, just purely looking at how they are performing?
I'm looking at the speed that he has instilled in the team. Yes, they were attacking with the speed under Jose, but they look like a team that's not easily unstoppable when they come at you. When you look at how they played against Limpopo, those goals, how difficult it was to break it, defense Limpopo, but you look at also them not giving up. They know when we're in and around the box, we can score any time. If we don't shoot from far, we can break and do the box entries and be able maybe to hit the net and you look at how they use Amalekuzanama wings wabo. Yes, they were using wings with Abonkota, Relebohile Mfukeng. They've got now Apolis, they've got Tsepang Moremi. I feel like they've got more speed when they go forward, and it's so difficult to stop them.
Yeah. Fortunately for the Buccaneers to not progress to the group stages of the CAF Champions League, but obviously they're still in all the domestic competitions right now. But speaking of our domestic competitions, as I've mentioned, two KZN teams in the semi-finals of Icarling knockouts. I can't remember the last time that happened. Usually the others fall out in the quarterfinals, but this time Richards Bay and the Golden Arrows making it to the semi-finals. But not only that, the way in which Amatimasa KZN started the season has been really impressive, because Slayers is or two, and then the others are in the relegation zone. But as things stand, 10 games into the season, not a single KZN team in the relegation zone. I think all our teams are in the top 11 right now with Betway Premiership. How would you assess the start of a team as Fundazweni, just looking at indlela abadlale ngayo compared to season edlule?
Just briefly, exciting it is for a KZN person, because it looks like we're not going to have Loluva Lesibana, especially in the second round of the season, where you think, we might lose this one, or maybe this one might go to a playoffs. I think if you can look at specifically, if I can highlight indeed Durban City, they are a team that you wouldn't think they would be. I think number 6 Manga Posisi right now, and they missed even a chance to go to number 3 last game. If they drew that game against Amazulu, they would climb and be number 3, which is, really surprising for a team that's coming from a second tier. When you look at Amazulu, they released experienced players, a lot of experienced players. We've spoken about it a lot of times. Uguti Atazwane believes a lot in young players. His squad is youthful. You look at the left back, forgotten his name. You look at Abu Mashiho, a lot of players that he's kind of trying to make them key players for him. Yes, he says Uguti sometimes kuzoba khona, those difficulties here and there, because obviously it's a squad that is adapting, but I feel like they are in a good direction, even though they still have to secure or acquire Ilokuzani experience as they are growing. You look at the Golden Arrows, I think a bit inconsistency. They would win here and there, maybe lose, draw, but I think they're stable. But lately, you look at them beating Sundowns. Look at the way, You look at Stellies, the way they lost that game. They didn't just lose, and just sit back. He's instilling that thing. No man, you can't be a small team. You go away and you like we're happy with 1 point. They want to score goals. He's instilling Leon Toleo winning mentality in them. And then who else? Richards Bay. I feel like they've also surprised me at times. They went to Stellies. I think they picked up a win there. They are stable. They're stable. So I think it's very exciting to be a KZN football enthusiast.
Yeah, especially also looking at how my teammates were playing at home as well. Richards Bay and Durban City trying to make their home grounds a fortress like Chatsworth and Asemhlathuze. But speaking of it, Durban City, they have a very, very big game coming up Friday night under the lights, this time at Moses Mabhida Stadium. Bamgela Makhosi, as the club has been doing really well in terms of trying to promote that game because it's their first big home game off for the season up against a Kaizer Chiefs side that has been inconsistent this season in terms of how they've been performing in the league and also just a couple of games in the CAF Confed Cup as well. How are you seeing this one? Also, just a single point, I think, separating Umabi Lama team going into Lomdlalo. How big of a chance do you give Durban City Kule game for them to actually come out with something?
We just came from a press conference here, but we spoke about Chiefs, coming from that win. CAF Confederation, they are spirited. You saw how it was towards the end of the game, showboating, stuff like that. But also, I spoke to a couple of KZN Chiefs fans. They are happy with the way they played. Securing a commanding victory where you're also happy about the way you played and you feel like you want to build that on that. I think for Chiefs it can be an advantage that they are coming in the game confident, but also a disadvantage because some players can be overconfident at times. If you have fans abakupusha ngaleya ndlela leya, it can be a bit of a disadvantage also. So that's where Durban City come. I asked Mashiho also in the morning, can you exploit that opportunity? Maybe you just lock the doors in the first half and then they're under pressure and you exploit that opportunity. Score maybe in the second half and try to come out with something in that game. So I'd give them something because maybe Kevin Hunt is a very experienced coach. He knows how to handle those games, and the factor that comes with it, maybe it might be a sold out affair. Surely, if Chiefs don't want to take chances, they might be under pressure, and Durban City might take it.
might surprise us. Obviously, a good way for abantu base KZN as well ukuthi baqale weekend by watching a really, really big game at Moses Mabhida Stadium between iCity and the Kaizer Chiefs. Obviously, I think ama-tickets are still available, so make sure ukuthi now uyawathola lapha ekhaya and go and watch the game. But another big game, the biggest game of the weekend, it has to be Orlando Pirates up against the Mamelodi Sundowns. A lot of people consider this fixture the premium South African football fixtures. Siyazi ukuthi Soweto derby iyathandwa abantu abaningi in terms of a fan base. It still is the biggest game commercially in every way you look at it. But this one, in terms of ball, the actual football, it's been a really, really exciting fixture in a lot of for a very long time in South African football. How are you seeing this one, Machana? Looking at where both teams are, for Sundowns, you'd say they still. It feels like they're still adapting to it. Coach Cardoso. And with Pirates, of course, it's a brand new coach in Coach Wadu. Where are these two teams right now going into this game?
As you're saying, it's a maybe currently the biggest game because of the football that is being played by both teams, and also amaqubu asa kele between the two teams. Pirates don't want to lose to Sundowns. They don't. They don't want to lose to Sundowns, and because they know we're fighting with these ones for a league. So yeah, Sundowns. You'd say they're a team that you can say maybe they are not mature at the moment.
Because
at times they they are not that Sundowns that we used to know.
So
they played well.
It's the football that's not convincing you, because the results are there. I mean, they won convincingly. We have Champions League to make it to the group stages. They are top of the log at the moment. So
they are a team that even good league. You saw Marumo Gallants. I think they drew with Marumo Gallants, where you thought it would be an easy win for them. There are games like Cheaper. They drew against Cheaper. I think not a 1-1 away. They can just lose points where they are not supposed to, and I would say they are inconsistent, and also the type of football they play. It's not a football that you'd say guaranteed we're winning. Obviously they enjoy lion's share of Ilokozani ball possession, but the creation of changes sometimes for me it's not sufficient enough ukuthi ingawinela game, because sometimes they just play sideways. Not the type of football we saw with FIFA Club World Cup, of course, but I think at times they're just inconsistent. Again, against Arrows, not many. I think there are many games where you've seen the Sundowns not having a shot on target
and conceding a lot of goals.
And conceding goals. And what does it say? It says for me, not yet there. But then the Pirates, I feel like I'd give them going into this game, because obviously they are just ruthless. Number one, and they can score. They can create and they can score.
Is this now, based on everything Oishilo about the Sundowns, how they're inconsistent in terms of does this now mean it's the best opportunity for Orlando Pirates to leapfrog the Sundowns and actually end the dominance of winning 8 in a row? Because Pirates does look like that team that's always been second to Sundowns. Not that it looks like they have been second to Sundowns for so long, and they're still playing well next season. Is this the season you feel ukuthi Pirates has probably their best opportunity to badlula Sundowns?
I know many coaches have said Sundowns are still the best teams, obviously. Maybe I can't argue, but then I still feel it's an opportunity for Orlando Pirates, especially for Orlando Pirates, not other teams, because it also lies on your consistency. Can you be consistent as Pirates?
Over 30 games.
Yes, of course. I had Jose also speaking about Iwinya Izolo saying he was not convinced. And that's the type of coach you need if you want to be consistent. Because if ever abadlali beqala beba complacent, that's why it comes in. Hey guys, you want to win here. We're not here to play. I'm not saying Jose was not doing enough of that, but if you wanna fight a team like Sundowns, ekwazi ugranda ama results noma bengenzi kahle, because they are not supposed to be up there, because they are not,
based on how
at their best,
how they've played.
At the moment they are not at their best, and I feel Pirates are a team currently that can be, be able to by leapfrog and bakwazi ukuthi bawin league if they are consistent.
Consistency is the big question for Amapagania. I'm sure you also have your predictions in terms of how the games are going to be going this week, and also the overall picture of the Betway Premiership in terms of Utubani Ozoiwina. Can Pirates leapfrog Sundowns this season and walk away with the Betway Premiership, ending over a 10-year long wait in terms of winning the league title for them? We're going to hear from you as well on the comment section in terms of what you feel about Tamakema Zayo. Kaizer Chiefs, Durban City, and as well as the big game on Saturday between Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns. Machana, thank you so much for Iskatsakoba, for looking forward to hearing your insights once again next time.
Always good coming here.
That's a wrap of this week's edition of Extra Time Unlocked. We're going to be back again next week.